Alright guys, we're back at it again. This time we're doing my first ranking on the channel. And yes, we are doing the Jurassic Park / Jurassic World franchise ranking. I'm super excited. Let's get to it.
Dr. Grant, my dear Dr. Sattler, welcome to Jurassic Park.
Alright guys, so this is one of my favorite franchises of all time. As a kid, I grew up with like dinosaur toys as a kid, movies like Land Before Time, Ice Age, stuff of that ilk. That was my thing growing up as a kid. And these movies are right along with it. So I've always been a huge fan of this franchise. This franchise has its ups and downs, which we will get to. But every time I go in, I'm hoping for the best, because this is up there. I don't know if it's number one, but it is up there as one of my favorite franchises, just because how much I enjoy dinosaurs and dinosaur movies. So, with that being said, let's get into number 7. There is 7 films. This is number 7. Number 7... is a movie that I went into so excited for, which probably hurts its ranking a bit. I went into it so pumped, so excited. I was like, this movie has to be awesome. And that movie is unfortunately Jurassic World Dominion. So yes, my number 7 is Jurassic World Dominion. Going into this movie, this comes off of Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. A lot of people weren't very hyped about a lot of people were let down by Fallen Kingdom, but Colin Trevorrow was coming back to Jurassic World Dominion. We were bringing the old characters with the new characters, and there was excitement around this movie. I was excited. I was like, yes, Colin Trevorrow is back. He's returning from Jurassic World. This has got to be awesome and at least fun. And unfortunately, didn't really get that. This movie has some moments, I give you that, of nostalgia. It plays on, is big on nostalgia, and it's really throwing that in your face. Almost to an extent, it just ruins the movie itself. As far as this movie goes, you could see it in Jurassic World, kind of, but poor dialogue. Really poor dialogue. Acting performances were there, but the dialogue was... It's just, this movie is written so poorly. It's one of the worst written movies in the franchise. I mean, it kind of becomes a theme with these world movies, but this one is really written poorly. A lot of the, character back and forth, once you get the new with the old, and you get the Alan Grants and the Ellie and... Ian Malcolms, once you get them back together, it's cool for a second, but then they start talking and the dialogue is just not good. And then you bring along your Owens and your Claires and your Maisies, and it's just like the conversations don't flow. They're just like one-liners. And it's just poorly written. Jeff Goldblum is like in a different movie. His one-liners are terrible. They're not good. It's so cheesy, so just ridiculous. It's cool to see Rexy back. You get a little bit of blue, not much of blue, unfortunately, but you get a little blue. I like a lot of the new dinosaur looks in this movie. I thought they were really cool. The Giganotosaurs, I thought that design was really dope. There's a bunch in here that I was like, I did enjoy that part. I actually liked the whole forest stuff. Anytime, they were in the forest, I thought a lot of that stuff was super dope. I wish we got more of that stuff. Unfortunately, we didn't. I mean, even had the thing in the beginning, even though it didn't make a ton of sense. But, that stuff's really cool. I don't really like... More stuff I don't like is the trade stuff straight out of Star Wars, it seemed like. I was like, this is a weird... addition to this franchise that I get, but I didn't need. The worst of the worst, though, is the Locust stuff. I mean, it's just abysmal to watch. it takes you out of this movie. Every time it is a focus on that, it just takes you out. I do not go to a Jurassic Park or World movie to talk about or watch locusts. I just don't. And it's a failed attempt. I don't really understand what they're going for whatsoever, and it's just unfortunate. The movie has a couple moments that stick out, but through and through, just not a good movie at all, unfortunately, because the hype was so high for it. Number 7, I have... this next one, it's probably a bit unfair because I've not seen it enough. I've not had enough digestion with the movie to really break it down, but I do have a review out. There is a review, and my number 7 is Jurassic World Rebirth. There is a review out. Make sure you go check it out. I'll put a link down in the description. I don't think this movie is not as bad as Dominion. I thought Dominion probably has a bit more spots in the movie that I enjoy more, just because of the old characters and the characters in Jurassic World. Like, you have some attachment to it. Plays on that nostalgia. This movie doesn't have the nostalgia part as much. It's very bland in a lot of spots. Again, the dialogue is not good. Not as bad as Dominion, but still written poorly. Gareth Edwards... I'm not the I'm not the biggest Gareth Edwards fan, so I'm not too surprised I didn't love the movie. There's parts that are cool, like the T-Rex stuff is the best thing in the whole movie. Like, easily, it's the best thing between that movie and Dominion. It is quite enjoyable, but this movie as a whole is very bland. There's just not enough that sticks out. I don't care about any of the characters, which is an issue. At least in Jurassic World Dominion, you have a love for a lot of these characters, so you're holding on to that. But these characters, I just don't care at all. And it's unfortunate. The performances weren't really very good, but a lot of that, I think, was probably because of poor dialogue and written poorly in general. As far as Rebirth goes, it will be interesting to see if it goes up and down over time. I think 7 is the right spot for it. I mean, it's close with 6. I mean, you could say it's close it's close to 5. You could argue it's even close to 8 or 7, but we'll see. But my number 6 is a movie that I used to be way lower on, way lower, and over time have risen a bit for it. I still don't think it's great, but that is Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. I think the first half of Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom is awesome. Honestly, it's one of the best halves of this whole franchise. I think so. This movie is coming after Jurassic World. Essentially, you have the dinosaurs on the Isla Nublar Island. That there's a volcano coming, and there's this company that reaches out to Claire to rescue them. She brings in Owen. They go and they attempt to rescue them. They're basically set up. They're trying to get off the island, as well as the dinosaurs. Amazing scene throughout. I would have taken a full movie of them trying to rescue dinosaurs or this volcanic thing. Even if it would have been a shorter movie, I think it just would have been better. I just really... The stuff with... When Rexy appears on the freaking scene with the Carnosaurus, I was like, yes! I was like, what I'm freaking talking about. That scene is awesome. The scene with the Brachiosaurus from the original on the pier as they're leaving, and you hear it crying out for help, is one of the saddest scenes in all of the franchise. It really kicks your ass. It's a really depressing scene, and just really well done. But unfortunately with this movie, the second half is just not nearly as good. It's just a totally different tone shift. I get what J.A. Bayona was going for, but it just didn't work. The auction stuff, not here for it. It became like a monster in the house type movie, and it just did not deliver. And they decided to run it back again, from the Indominus Rex now to the Indoraptor of a mutant dinosaur creation. So they have the Indoraptor here. I mean, the design's okay, but we've done it before. It's not as cool as the Indominus Rex, and it's just like, I mean, it seems like a retread. And on top of that, I just don't find the second half appealing. It's really not. It's hard to get through. It's not as good as the first half is. Not nearly as good as the first half is, unfortunately. Because I think this movie would have better for second half, or even maybe do like an hour and 40 like you do with Jurassic Park 3 and have this sped up, hyper, super fast paced movie. I think you would have had a better result and a lot more people would have enjoyed it. We got number 4, that is Jurassic Park 3. So if I didn't say before, my number 5 is Jurassic Park Fallen Kingdom. My number 4 is Jurassic Park 3. So this movie, I rewatched it recently, for the, getting ready for this ranking. And Jurassic Park 3, I grew up on this movie, came out in 2001. I was still a kid. So there's a lot of love for this movie as, growing up. There's some nostalgia there. They have a couple, William H. Macy and Tay Leone. They basically hire Alan Grant. Alan Grant's back after not being in the second movie. And he doesn't know at first, but eventually he finds out once he's on the island that they want him to find his son. And the Spinosaurus is one of the best dinosaurs in all the franchise. The way, I know it's not necessarily true to what a Spinosaurus is. Obviously, it's more so if you watch Rebirth, that's probably closer. But the design, it's one of the few dinosaurs outside of the T-Rex in the first movie that's truly terrifying. Like, the cell phone scene is excellent. Like, when you could hear the ringing of the cell phone. The parents finally meet up with the kid, but then they hear the cell phone, and you know something's wrong, and you turn around and you see the Spinosaurus just sitting there. Chills. And then, it's just, there's a bunch of, the pterodactyl stuff is excellent. The raptor stuff is excellent. But this movie's directed by Joe Johnston. But I get people, like what people say about the fast-paced nature, that's what he was going for. I prefer the world building of the first 2 movies, and even Jurassic World to an extent. But this movie, at times, feels very rushed, and I get that's the point, but it doesn't give me time to enjoy the scenery and the music, and because we're just one scene after another scene after. It has its appeal, but that's why it doesn't rank kind of higher for me. Also, T. Leone in this movie is just not. She's way over the top, unfortunately. She's just. It's just. I don't know what she was. She's a good actress, but I don't know what she was doing in this movie. But she was very obnoxious, and if I was Alan Grant's character, I just would not be able to stay near this lady any longer. She's just not good in the movie. And then, obviously, the infamous raptor scene where the dream where he's talking. I mean, it's just not good. I mean, I don't. That was a weird choice, but all in all, it's still a fun movie. I think it's a solid entry in the franchise, and it's a movie I can go back to. Only about an hour and 40 hours, whatever it is. But yeah, it's an enjoyable movie. Next, this is the top 3. Every movie from 3 to 1 I love. Obviously, there's ones I love more than others. But number 3 might be shocking for some because I feel like this is a lot of people's too. But it is number 3 for me. It is very close to 2. That is The Lost World Jurassic Park. I love this movie. I grew up on this movie. Some of my favorite scenes in the franchise, especially the scene. So just to, catch y'all up, I mean, if you haven't seen this movie, I mean, that's on you. You have a new island, Isla Sorna, or Site B. Ian Malcolm's character's back. He kind of gets forced to go to this island because his girlfriend Sarah is at that island. And now they end up fighting against InGen. This is the first movie where InGen really becomes, is shown as evil. Compared to the first one, where not as much, but this movie, they're really shown as evil, and they're trying to rescue these dinosaurs while InGen's trying to take them for a zoo. Eventually, they have to join up, but there's 2 T-Rexes and a baby dinosaur and a baby T-Rex in this movie. One of my favorite scenes is when they get the baby T-Rex back, and you have the RV over the cliff scene. Excellent, tense stuff. I think it's one of the best scenes in the franchise. I think it's done so well. You can in this movie, and this movie is directed by Steven Spielberg, like the original. You can tell in this movie that it still has the Spielberg flair. It's not exactly like the original. It doesn't quite have that feeling of a. It just doesn't quite have that feeling, but it still has that tenseness to it. The music still hits. A lot of the dinosaur scenes are done great. The Stegosaurus, you still have the wonder there with the Stegosaurus scene, and then Sarah seeing the baby Stegosaurus, and then the group. But yeah, I mean, this movie is excellent. A lot of people don't like the second half, or like shouldn't even say the second half, like the last 30-40 minutes or so when it's in San Diego, the T-Rexes, because they capture the T-Rex, and one of the T-Rexes and one of the baby, and they're taking it to San Diego. The T-Rex gets out, it goes through San Diego. A lot of people don't like that. Do I think it ages the best? Not necessarily. Do I think it ruins the movie? No. I can see why, like, it definitely is not, it's definitely a tone shift. It's a bit more goofy, but I still enjoy it. I think there's fun to be had there. And, like, through and through, this movie's still really good. It's a really good follow-up. I really love this movie. And, yeah, my number 3 is Lost World Jurassic Park. My number 2 is Jurassic World, the first of the World movies, directed by Colin Trevorrow. As mentioned, he directed Dominion. Revitalized my childhood and ruined it in the same franchise. Kind of crazy, but he, when this movie came out, I got to see it in theaters. Touched on so much nostalgia. Touched on just like the dinosaurs are back. Basically, they set up a park that actually got opened, and people coming and going. At this point, people are almost tired of dinosaurs, so they create a new mutant-like dinosaur called Indominus Rex. Awesome design. Is easily the best made dinosaurs, mutant dinosaurs there is in the whole franchise. Thoroughly enjoy the Indominus Rex. Super cool. I love the introductions of Owen Grady, is played by Chris Pratt, and Claire, played by Bryce Dallas Howard. I think this is the best they are, because in my opinion, I think Chris Pratt kind of just runs through the motions in some of the elements, especially Dominion. You don't even know it's Chris Pratt. I don't even know what's going on in his performance. Like, you didn't care anymore. I thought Bryce Dallas Howard's great in this movie, in my opinion. I think they both have great chemistry. Love their on-screen stuff. This movie is just so much fun. I mean, the Mosasaurus stuff, I love that introduction. Getting to see a lot of the new park and how it's set up. And then you get the introduction of Blue with Owen. Blue is awesome. One of the favorites of the franchise, and for good reason, up there with Rexy. And eventually, at the end, we get to Rexy when they bring him out to fight the Indominus Rex, and you have the Mosasaurus. One of the best endings ever. I think it's good as almost any of the endings outside of the original. It almost made me tear up in theater, that ending, because they just pulled on the right strings as a fan of the franchise. This movie's just, it's got some cheesiness to it. There's Vincent D'Onofrio's character is too over the top. Not my favorite part of the movie, but just, it's blockbuster fun, man. And every time I watch it, I have a blast. So, my number 2 is Jurassic World. My number 1, of course, what more can you say? One of the greatest movies ever made. One of my favorite movies of all time. That is Steven Spielberg's Jurassic Park. I love this movie way more than anything else on here. But just, this movie is an adventure from start to finish. It is a roller coaster of emotions. You get your introductions to the characters you're going to love, like Alan Grant and Ellie Sattler and John Hammond, and played by Richard Attenborough, and the kids, and Ian Malcolm, played by Jeff Goldblum, and Samuel Jackson is in this movie, and the list goes on and on. The music is iconic, the best it's ever been, and has been this whole through the whole franchise. John Williams kills it. Everything with Rexy is amazing, well done. The introduction to Rexy, the how awesome everything with each dinosaur is. When Alan and Ellie first get introduced to the dinosaurs at the beginning, how awesome it is to see something they have so much passion in, and them being so in awe of it, and capturing that on film is amazing. It's still one of those scenes that makes me teary-eyed because it's so beautifully done. This is one of Spielberg's. It's my favorite Spielberg film. The animatronics, the robotics for the dinosaurs still holds up. I prefer it over CGI. I'm just going to be honest with you. It still holds up. The T-Rex and the way it looks in that movie is excellent. The raptors are, the raptor scenes are just. What can you say about this movie? It is as good as advertised. It's one of the greatest movies ever made. It will probably always be number one. I don't know that anything will ever surpass it. We'll see. I mean, I doubt a movie at this point in the franchise, but yeah, franchises surprise you. Soul X, for example. So you never know what can happen if the right team gets behind it. That's my rankings for Jurassic Park / Jurassic World. I just want to quickly say, hopefully for the franchise going forward, we get a director attached to it that loves the franchise and wants to go back to the roots. Enough of the monster stuff, enough of the, mutant creatures. I'm done with that kind of stuff. Focus on the dinosaurs, have fun, have a good adventure movie. I think Rebirth was going for something like that, but just didn't hit. Yeah, like I said, if you video for Jurassic World Rebirth in the it will be in the description. As always, please like, comment, subscribe. What's your ranking? What's your favorite Jurassic Park or Jurassic World movie? Let me know. Do you hate my list? Do you like my list? Make a list of your own. As always, guys, I got a Superman review coming out soon. We will get my out of 3 reactions soon. Super excited for that movie and what James Gunn has in store. Much more to go. I know what you did last summer. I'm sure we'll do rankings on that as a horror fan. But yeah, as always, guys, can't wait to get back at it again, and I'll see you next time.